Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Looking for Love in All the Wrong Dust Jackets, a show where three disgruntled harpies talk to you about everything we love in romance, whether that's books, movies, TV shows, whatever we like. My name's Liz.
I'm Danny.
I'm Wiggles!
And welcome to the episode. Today we are reading Flawless by Elise Silver. But before we get into that and talk about all the cowboys out there, I have to warn you, I gotta let the people know that we are crass and unhinged and very unladylike, which means we're gonna swear a whole hell of a lot, and we're gonna talk about all of the naughty times.
Bow, chicka, ow, ow.
Real freaking naughty.
All right, but before we go into talking about the episode, I have to know what's been going on with y'all. I haven't seen you in a minute. Get me caught up on your lives.
I've been moving, so I got nothing for you but sadness and boxes.
Weren't you listening to like audiobooks while you were moving?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, fair enough. I had a grumpy week and decided that what would make me super happy is to go on Vet19's YouTube and just play the playlist of Break It to Make It, which means basically he pays his employees to try to break a hard to break object with a really fucking random object. So he'll give them like a plushie and they have to break into it with like a clothespin. And if they break into it in 60 seconds, he gives them $25, or it goes up in difficulty. So it always makes me happy. Also, Kyle breaks the tables a lot.
Okay, Danny.
What about you, Liz? What were you up to?
So I read Blindsided by Amy Dawes, which is a football, because it's in England, romance, but it's a best friend romance where the FMC is a virgin and she's about to turn 30. And so her best friend is like, well, I could help you with that.
I'll break your back for you, ma'am.
It was like a 3.5. It was fun. Like, the thing is it was enjoyable. The beginning of the book is a little ridiculous because she's almost 30 and she doesn't know what reverse cowgirl is or what cowgirl is.
So, like, okay, so she wasn't just like a virgin. She was like ignorant
Sheltered.
virgin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was no like reason for her to be that ignorant. Like, it's one thing to, not have had that experience or not have like run into opportunities or opportunities that you liked, but to just not know some of the basics is a little far-fetched for me.
Well, and to not, unless you lived an incredibly sheltered life,
Yeah.
you have a very religious family or something, if there's no like explanation as to why she would have never had anybody joke about that or anything around her, anything, I that's where I find it a little far-fetched.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing that keeps stopping me. Like, have you watched TV?
Like, I would get it if you were like in your 20s, like 21 or something.
Sure.
I'd be like, okay, maybe you just really have not been aware of the world. But like almost 30?
Yeah. You would have heard some shit.
Yeah.
And also, I guess, how do you get to the point where you don't do any research on your own?
That was the thing that actually bothered me the most of, if you're not being sheltered and you're not like actively avoiding it, why aren't you, I don't know, watching porn? I mean, something.
It's not that hard to find.
No, it's not.
Well, and my other thing, and this could just be that, like, her friends don't talk to her about that kind of stuff, but, like, you don't have any friends?
Except she does. That's the weird thing.
That's, like, because, like, you and I would talk about that shit all the time. Like, not all the time. I mean, we're not weird like that, but we would definitely have those conversations, and maybe not necessarily about your particular partner, because I love him, but you.
Well, we're a little bit of a different group.
It's true.
We are.
You know, I don't know. I think some people just don't branch out about, or like,
yeah,
I don't know.
We're much more open with each other about shit.
Yeah, and then like I get that. You're not just walking up to somebody being like, "Tell me about the last time you did reverse cowgirl." But I can't get the idea of just not looking it up yourself.
Yeah, that
Like,
would be a weird thing for me. Like, you never
Yeah.
got curious.
I don't know.
That curiosity has taken me down roads that I'm not super stoked about many times. You never got curious once?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is once you get past that, it is pretty fun and enjoyable. So
All right.
yeah.
All right. Very nice. I don't know why.
Should we talk about this book?
Oh, let me tell you about the author.
Woo!
Okay, so if you go to her page, because she's friendly like that, the very first thing you see is an about her thing and about her books. So thanks. I don't know why I'm saying that.
I was like,
she's
why
the
are we so
problem.
aggressive about
I'm
this?
aggressive against other authors who make me work for it. All right, she is the author of Sassy Sexy Romance, and she says this: thanks for dropping by. If you're a fan of steamy small town romance with dirty talking alpha heroes and strong heroines who clap back, you're in the right place. Each of my books is a little bit different, but at their core, they're all books that I myself would enjoy reading. I live for the tension, but I need the emotional connection to see their relationship build up and then tumble down when they finally give in. Real characters with real problems, people who cuss, who make mistakes sometimes, scenes that make you blush, but stories that always, always end in a happily ever after. So, there's that. So here are the books that she's got. Wild Love, very popular right now.
It just came out a little bit ago, right?
I know. And
Or the sequel did?
It's very exciting. And Chestnut Spring series, which is what we're reading today, starting us off with Flawless, but then she's got a whole bunch of other ones. So check those out. It's just not loading very fast.
We don't have to do the books. You've given
Yeah.
us plenty.
Well, good. Enjoy it.
Danny, what's this book about, though?
All right, so I had no clue what this book was about when I was like, sure, put on the audiobook. And then I realized it's about a bull rider, and I was most excited.
We've got to actually listen to each other when we talk, because I know for a fact we talked about this.
I acknowledge the fact that we probably did talk about this. The fact of the matter is I have ADHD. We talk about a lot of different books, and I don't always remember what we landed on.
Okay.
But, so, yay, Bull Rider. Very happy about that. And then, so, it's Bull Rider. He got in trouble because, well, so, the reason he got in trouble initially is very dumb. It's because he was talking to a friend of his while he was getting ready to go ride a bull, and he said something about not liking milk. Not a crime. He can not like milk all he wants. Unfortunately, one of his sponsors is a big milk company.
Big dairy, guys.
And people were outraged, which stupid. And then a reporter got in his face and touched him with the microphone, and then he punched him. I can't really blame him for that either, but he shouldn't choose violence, but I feel like the guy chose it first. So his agent decides that he needs a babysitter, and this lovely woman is his babysitter. So now she has to go everywhere that he is to try to save the image. He's lost sponsors, and all along he's trying to, 1, get another national championship, 2, he's trying to get enough money to help out with his family farm. Let's discuss.
Well, I guess one point we should probably hit on is that she's not just an agent at this, I don't know, firm, where advertising firm, whatever. She's also the main boss's daughter, and is trying to prove herself and has some baggage there.
Absolutely. I will say, though, I do love that they didn't really go the, like, solely nepotism angle. Because, yes, she got her job via nepotism. She also got a law degree in order to prove that she deserved it, which I thought was really interesting and a really good touch.
Yeah. I will say, skipping all the way to the end when she decides that she doesn't want to do this job, I guess if you got a law degree, why are you not doing the law?
I don't think she ever really liked the law to begin with. She really just was doing what she thought her dad would like and need for the company, because she feels like
I get all of that. I do. But you have a law degree. Like, that's not something that you just, it's not like a bachelor's degree you just get.
Well,
yeah, true.
I don't think she passed the bar. Like, that's required to actually practice.
Yeah, she may not have taken the bar exam.
Still, it's a lot of work.
It is.
Indeed.
Throw it all away.
Well, I guess if it makes her happy running a gym, go you,
I suppose.
Yep.
But that's at the end of the book. There's so much more book.
I will say she's not very good at her job, so it's probably good that she changed jobs.
It's true.
Like, she's around him a lot, and it gives them, I guess, an excuse to spend time together. But, like, she's not actually doing anything much to, like, help promote him. She's got him going to some friendly interviews, but that's about it.
That is something that doesn't happen at all in the book, is them doing the job. Like Rhett, we do have several scenes where he's actually doing bull riding, but Summer is never doing anything other than just like sticking to him.
Yes.
Which I suppose is her main job in the beginning. Her dad is like, you just need to be there so he doesn't do something stupid.
I will say, so part of that, I think, though, is that he's been portrayed a certain way in the media, and in reality, he really isn't that way most of the time. And so I think most of her job really is unnecessary because he doesn't act like that. He only hit that guy because that guy literally smacked him in the face with a microphone. I'd be tempted to punch that dick too.
Well, I do wonder, and this is, it happens all the time, right? I do wonder if it comes down to the fact that the author doesn't know much about being a sports agent.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't anything written in the book about being a sports agent.
I mean, I don't know anything about being a sports agent, so she could probably make some shit up, and I'd be like, okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's probably what they do. I don't know. I watched Jerry Maguire once. I feel like that's the same thing, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, totally the same thing. I'm basically an expert.
Well, to be fair, I mean, we're not coming to these books for
No.
that shit anyway. So.
No, we are not.
But I will say it felt very much like a weak excuse. I was like, I don't think she needed to move into his house.
Yeah, so that's the beginning of the book, is Summer has to move in to the Eaton family house because Rhett still lives on his family farm, or family ranch, excuse me. And that part was really awkward to me because it was like, did you ever ask? Because it's not Rhett's house. He lives still at his family's house because he's traveling all the time. So it's not just Rhett's decision if she can be there.
Well, they did make mention that initially it was only Rhett and his dad who knew, so maybe his dad was on the up and up of what was happening.
Well, you'd have to. There's a whole ass person moving in.
I mean, if you just bring a person to my house and say, they live here now, I'm going to be like, so we need to go talk out back.
Well, we also
the
need
fuck?
to specify. So, yes, it's the family home, but only Rhett and his dad live in that house.
Well, sure, but still.
I know. And his dad, Henry, I believe his father's name was.
Look, I didn't know the main guy's name. Why do you think I know his dad's name?
That's true. Anyway, he knew when she got there what was going on. So I think he was down with it and everything. He thought it was fucking fun. They all think it's fucking funny,
Well,
but
he would have to know what's happening.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's the one thing that would motivate me to, like, have a stranger in my home. Like, if you just, like, brought a stranger, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. But if you were like, it's going to make someone you like uncomfortable, yes, let's do this.
yeah. We do get a lot of time back at the family home, though, and I enjoyed those scenes quite a bit.
I did too. I enjoyed the time with his family.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I haven't obviously read forward, but I think that's something that a lot of authors who do like a full family or set of friends or whatever for their series kind of forget about, is that they need to exist outside of when it's their turn.
Yeah.
And she made us give a shit about a lot of the characters.
Oh yeah,
that are coming
absolutely.
up.
Well, all of the male characters have a book. So the next is Cade and Willa's, actually. So Willa shows up.
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
She's gonna
I
drive
had a
him nuts.
feeling, like somewhere in my spirit, I was like, I bet it's those two.
Yeah. 'Cause
I knew for
she's
sure it
all-
was gonna be Cade.
Yeah, because he's all grumpy and she's all like sassy. Yeah.
I love that every time Willa is Summer's best friend. I love that every single time that she sends her a message, hey, did you hump that
Yeah.
hump that cowboy yet?
I do wish we had more of her other than just the text messages earlier, because when she finally does, towards the very end of the book, we actually get to have scenes with her. I'm like, she's cool. I like her.
Well, people are different on text than they are in person, right?
Oh, for sure.
You know, on text, I'm like, stop being such a dumb asshole. In person, I'm like, stop being such a dumb asshole.
Well, Willa also had like a lot of really good insights because she says things like, maybe Rhett doesn't know how to make you talking to Summer a priority because nobody's ever made him a priority in life. And I was like, oh, woman,
All
coming
right.
in here.
All right.
I know. I was like, oh, there we go. There we go. And I love that actually came to fruition. He's like, oh, wait, I should make her a priority. He's just like, nope, done. Which was a better option for him physically as well. But
Yeah, that's the huge underlying thing, right? Is he's 32,
32, yes.
which apparently is too old to be riding bulls.
It's
And
very old to be bull riding.
Look, I get it. I'm 34, and if you asked me to go on a bull like that, I'd be like, I will die.
I
will be
wouldn't go
dead.
on a mechanical bull at this
Right.
point. I'd be like, are you out of your damn mind? I'm going to have like my neck all thrown out. My back's going to hurt. That's stupid.
Okay. I would. However, I'm actually really good at mechanical bulls.
Yeah, and when you fall, though, you fall on squishy mats, and
Yep.
there's not a bull that's going to turn around and
Oh,
try
yeah.
to
No,
run you down.
I would never get on a real one.
No.
But I would go on a mechanical one. I'd be like, ooh, yeah, I'm good at that.
Getting back a little bit to the beginning of the book, when we come into this, yes, we know that Rhett is old for the sport, but he's also on this huge winning streak.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't be. Statistically, everyone's like, you should have been retired, man. This is almost a little bit dangerous, but he just goes out there and he's getting some of the more dangerous bulls, which is why he's getting such a strong score. But it's at some point, that's not going to work to your favor. And so one of the things I really liked was the training that she puts him through to make sure that he can at least be as safe as possible, because he's not treating his body like hot garbage and then going out there and being like, I can do this.
I think it was really great from a writing perspective because it gave us, obviously, it showed insight to Rhett. It gave insight to Summer and the fact that she really likes physical training and all of that, but also gave them a lot of opportunities to be closer.
A lot of excuses for touching, a lot of excuses for showing personalities in each other as well, because she didn't pull punches when it came to training and everything too. So he's like, fuck, man.
Well, and that's great because it doesn't just go, oh, we're going to train together and then jump to the sexy cute shit. It's like, okay, yeah, you're hot over there, but you're saying some nasty things to me right now and it's not nice.
Yes. I think it also was really smart because it gave us insight into the sport if you were not familiar with it. So that was a really good way to do it.
He also then had to explain the sport to her and how certain things work, because I knew that going in, but not everybody knows that.
No.
I think the vast majority of people do not.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
I grew up watching the PBR, but that's because my parents and I have always liked that.
Mm-hmm. And I lived practically on the fairgrounds. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was really smart. And I also enjoyed it from the standpoint of her doing her best to work with him and empathize with him, even though he was being really fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that happens a lot in athletes, right? How do you make your entire life and personality about this sport, and then your body starts failing you? And so where it would be probably a lot easier for us to step away from a job or hobby, whatever, as soon as it became dangerous. If that's the thing that defines you and makes you think that you have value, how do you walk away from it?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, too, there's this element of, raised rural.
Yeah.
There's the thing of well, I just got to tough it out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have that in combination with, I don't actually want to acknowledge the pain that I'm in.
I think we see that also represented, whatever, in the emotional side of between Rhett and his family, where they never talk about the fact that none of them come to his events. Are they called events?
Yeah.
They don't support him at all in this. But we're just not going to talk about it. And so it takes Summer showing up and being like, you realize they don't talk to you because they're scared.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she also shames them.
Which is to be fair, though. Like,
Yeah.
you're-
He's
you're-
going for the national title, essentially, and you're not going to watch. You're not going to be
Right.
there for him. I understand that this terrifies you, but wouldn't you rather be closer?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too when Rhett gets his biggest wake up call. Like, obviously, he has a moment of like clarity towards the end of the book, but I think the moment where he goes, okay, this for sure, like, I don't want it to be my last season, but it's like that idea is like creeping back into his mind, you know, is when his protege finds himself, you know, mimicking everything Rhett's doing, including going for more dangerous bulls, trying to pull more dangerous stunts to get more points. And in doing so, gets himself in a position to fully be gored by a bull.
He gets off just fine and everything, but the bull comes back for him.
Right.
No, he doesn't get off because Theo gets a concussion.
Yes. He falls off and hits his head because he
Oh.
refuses to wear a fucking helmet.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
wear the fucking helmet.
And then Rhett has to run out and basically save him.
Right.
causing him to get a bunch of broken ribs.
Right.
Yep.
And I think too, I don't think if Summer and Rhett hadn't broken up, kind of,
They weren't really together to
right,
begin with.
Yes.
right. But if they hadn't like parted ways, if you will,
Yeah.
I think there would have been enough time for her to talk him out of competing after that.
Yes.
And so I think that the end result would be the same. It just wouldn't be dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up, I want to talk about the breakup. And I typically hate third act breakups purely because they're obviously it's annoying because you're like, well, you got together. Why are you getting back apart now? But also because I just think they're so predictable. And it's like, do something better. However, even though this had a third act breakup, I thought it was done really well.
It made sense.
Right.
Especially because the author has built this up all along that he doesn't want to admit his injuries and everything. And so for him to kind of lash out at her in that way made
Right.
sense to me.
Well, and it was building up before that with all the shit with Dr. Rob and Winter, which is a whole other fucking thing.
Well, I think too, you have this dynamic where he has put some of the emotional development of their relationship on the fact that she doesn't tell him no. And he never says it in exactly that way, but he does say it multiple times in the book that he loves that she doesn't tell him no.
It's not that she doesn't tell him no, it's that she doesn't try to talk him out of like writing and stuff like that.
Right. It's not everything is no, but very specifically this one thing where his family and like the entire world is saying you should retire. She's saying, well, I understand you're going to do this anyway, so let's at least be smart about it.
Yeah. It's not that she doesn't tell him no, because she tells him no all the fucking time.
Right. But like in that context.
Yeah.
And so part of whether or not he's acknowledging that, part of what he likes about her is that she's the person who's supporting him no matter what. So when she's like, bro, you've got broken ribs and that's a problem. Like no amount of stretching is going to fix that. I think he has a really negative reaction that just like filters into every other reaction that he's having.
Well, and up until that point, when Summer pushes him away first, that's the part that I actually really liked because Summer told him this big secret about how her heart surgeon, like, ended up having like a secret relationship with her. Nothing happened until she turned 18. She kept saying, I was legal when it happened, but it's like, shit definitely happened before then.
Yeah.
Well, the first time she actually has the inner monologue that she used the word grooming once.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, are you like saying that he groomed you to be like this perfect version of what he wanted and then abandoned you? Like, I didn't know for sure that that's where we were going.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so when they finally see Rob with Winter, which is when we get the fucking huge bomb that Winter is married to him, which I also thought was well done because usually when there's these twists or secrets, they're kept from the audience in a lot of romance books that I've read in a way that is like very clear. Okay, you're keeping something from me just for the sake of dropping a bomb later, and this is really annoying. But
There was no warning.
There was no warning. We hated Rob. We knew he was a shithead. And then it was like, also, he's a mega, mega shithead.
Right. Well, I felt bad for Winter in that moment.
For
You
sure.
know, like, I say what you will about her flaws and all. Like, she definitely has some shit she needs to contend with and make up for. But, like, she really got blindsided hard because she didn't just find out that the person that she married and vowed to be in love with was, like, a pig around her, like, little sister. He fucking groomed her.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to move on to her.
And then finds out about it at work right after her dad had a minor but still heart attack.
Right.
Yep.
And found out from her sister's maybe boyfriend, maybe who knows what. Just
Right.
yelling at your husband and then punching him in the face. Which I agree with the Summer. It's like, I understand you were trying to be protective, but you overstepped a massive boundary here.
Absolutely.
Honestly, if I were Summer, I would have been a lot harsher with him.
Yeah.
Same.
Like, I thought she was too nice to him.
Like,
Yeah.
did I want him to punch him? Absolutely. Did I want it to happen there? No. She had the right and needed the time to process what was happening and to inform him. That was not his situation to deal with.
No. Well, so there's this comedian I really like, Daniel Sloss, and he talks about finding out that one of his friends was assaulted. And he's like, I'm going to go beat him up. And this friend was like, no, you're not. And he's like, yeah, I am. That's the right thing to do. And she's like, no, because then you make him a victim. And that's not fair. Like, and that's how I felt about this moment. I was like, all you've done is make him the center of attention, make him the victim because you came out of nowhere and hit him. And you're not letting people process and do with the information that is theirs to process and do with their own thing. Like,
Yeah. But from Summer's perspective, right, like the amount of trust in telling somebody your deepest, darkest secret and having them the first opportunity spill it to your whole family.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
How can I trust you with fucking anything?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but I got secrets I've been keeping since I was a wee one. And you can't even handle, like, what, 2 weeks?
Right.
Bro.
But I also understand Rhett's perspective of you fucking sleazeball and everybody's just letting you like infect them with your toxicity and nobody's stopping you. Like, I don't condone what he did at all, but I can understand where it came from.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I understand the urge, but it's also your responsibility to control that
for
shit.
sure.
Oh,
It is.
yeah.
It is.
You
I'm
know?
not saying he did the right thing. I just
No, not at all.
understand the motivation.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is then I think one of the biggest turmoil points for Winter itself, one, she has to contend with the fact that her husband is this person.
Yeah.
She also has to contend with the fact that I don't think she realized the prejudice she's been putting on Summer all of this time.
Oh, that's a whole other thing. Like, so Summer is an oops baby when her dad fucked the
Nanny.
nanny. Okay. I was like, I can't remember his nanny or housekeeper. And so her stepmom, his wife, fucking treated her like terrible, awful, just bad.
Garbage. Constantly.
And pitted Winter against her all the time. And Summer did the best thing. She's like, I understand when she like called her out and saying, this is between me and you, but you have no idea what you did to Winter by basically taking her opportunity and having a sister away from her. And the fact that I could have told her all this shit if I would have trusted her, but you made sure we never did.
Yes.
That said, I will say this in defense of what is Winter's mother's name?
I think it's Mariana or Mariana.
Yes. There's not a scenario where she is not made into the bad guy, which is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Like it's her husband who went and had this fucking affair, but there's no version of events where she isn't either taking care of a kid that is not hers, that she shouldn't have had the responsibility to deal with, and frankly, I don't like know what strength you have to muster up in yourself to do that, or she was going to be the bad guy. There was no other outcome for her.
Yeah, it's easy to make her the evil stepmother. And I think in my brain, the thing that I would villainize her for is not making the decision, right? So if you're going to stay, don't take it out on the child.
Yeah. Right.
And if you can't handle the child, you need to go. Like those, like this in between place where she's making everybody's life miserable around her is the part where I'm like,
and that's
this
where,
is the wrong choice.
That's where I have the problem, because my thought process is you have two options here. Either you make the decision to forgive him, and you actually forgive him, and you don't take it out on the perfectly innocent child who didn't ask to be there in the first place.
Which is not an easy thing to do. It takes lots of years of therapy.
Absolutely.
And shit.
But if you're going to make that decision, you need to make that decision and work towards it.
Yeah.
Or you fucking leave and you raise your child and you co-parent with that person, and you don't abuse a child that didn't ask to be there in the first place. You can be mad at him all you fucking want, and you deserve to.
Well, and it's also not healthy for Winter.
No.
Because if you watch your parents constantly fighting, right, that's the thing. It's better for the child if you divorce than stick together when you hate each other.
Yep.
That said, if she would have divorced him and left, then it would have been, you're taking my child away.
Well, I
like,
mean,
there is literally no outcome for her that is fair and okay. But the thing is, Kip doesn't have anything. Like, it's like, yeah, he did a bad thing, but he was the good parent. It's like, no, that guy was a fucking asshole too, and you need to hold him accountable to it. I'm not saying I am in any way in Mariana's side, but don't give Kip a pass. Fuck him.
Oh,
no, don't give Kip a pass at all. But that comes down to the fact for Summer, she only has one parent. So if she takes that on her dad and is mad at him, then she has no parents.
Yeah.
So you sometimes force yourself to forgive somebody even if they haven't earned it, to at least have a parent.
I will say, I think it was Kip's responsibility to then have that awkward and unfun conversation with his wife and say, hey, like, if she's not leaving you out of spite, it's still your job to then leave her, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
sure.
You're still a responsible fucking adult. And anyway, I just think that Kip got off easy and it pissed me off.
Oh, no, I agree with you, because if you see this person treating your child like shit all of the time, it is your responsibility to stand up and do something about it.
Well, and also the other thing that I sort of struggle with is that the narrative that we have is skewed. It is, it's Summer's perspective, which, and like from what we see of Mariana, she's a bitch. I'm not saying she's not, but if snide comments is all she has done, I'm sorry, but your natural born mother can do that to you. That being a stepmother doesn't make that happen. She's a bitch, but like, I think that the way that Summer idolizes Kip in spite of that flavors her entire perspective.
And I will say some of that does stem from, I think, the fact that she did have a very lethal heart condition as a child and teenager, and so she ended up having heart surgery. It was botched, and she got a major infection, and then had the heart surgery that saved her own life, like that saved her life and everything. And so a lot of that was Kip being there with her and everything. So she does idolize him in a degree, because he was the parent that stayed around. He was the parent that was there for her in her times of need, which is also why she feels the need to pass on his legacy with his company and everything, and why she got the law degree to be a part of it and everything.
That's the thing, though, right? Like, we're coming in from the outside. We see everybody. We've got the lay of the land. We know all of the pieces. But Summer, like, purely from her perspective, is like, this is the person who has always been there to support me, who's always been there to take care of me, who was there when I was deathly ill. So I'm not going to, turn my back to him. It will be interesting to read, if y'all decide to, it would be interesting to read Winter's book to see, does Mariana get further villainized, or do we see an entirely different perspective on their household growing up?
Winter has a lot to process, because like, all of the things that we've said about her garbage husband are true, and he saved her sister.
Yep.
And she's pregnant.
Yep.
With his baby, presumably.
And I would assume that not only is he garbage in the fact that he did all that shit to Summer, I can't imagine he was a great husband to Winter either.
No. He seems like a douche.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are little moments where you see like hesitations on Winter's side, and I think she wants to kind of get in there with Summer a little bit, but at the same time, she has been poisoned by her mother all these years, and it's her mother. I completely understand. And when you grow up with that as the only narrative, that sometimes is hard to overcome that thought process.
When you've been taught your whole life that Summer is the reason that your family is not a happy family anymore and that they are to blame for everything, like, how do you overcome that?
It's one of those things that, like, realistically, she is a grown-ass adult and a doctor at that. Realistically, she has to understand that that is not Summer's fault. But when you've been conditioned that way your entire life, that's who she blames.
There's a big difference between understanding things like
Logically,
but also when you're a medical doctor, like in a hospital. I think she's also a heart surgeon. I don't know. You can understand all the physiological reasoning of things, but that doesn't mean that you are on the up and up as far as the mental and psychological way things work.
Well, and, we've talked about Grey's Anatomy before.
I was going to say, watch Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, there's a certain level of an emotional stunting that happens when you spend that much time in school.
Yeah, it does.
Not out in the world, not interacting with people. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That's said in Grey's Anatomy at one point. Callie is explaining to the vet that Meredith is dating at the time, and she's like, here's the thing, Finn. This is high school with scalpels. We have spent so much time in school at this point that we are teenagers.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Anywho, moving on from Winter. I think we should talk about Rhett's family because they're more fun.
I love them.
They are more fun, but they also got their own baggage.
Oh, yeah.
Because their mom died. Is it a car accident?
No, she died giving birth to
their
his little sister.
Okay. Yeah. So died horribly. And so they all got a whole lot of baggage around that, which is fair. And growing up in small town, well, it's not Midwest, it's Canada, but it feels very small town Midwest. As somebody who grew up there, we don't talk about our problems.
No.
Yeah, no, we don't do that.
We don't do that.
You gonna just sit here and whine all day? Or are you gonna get some work done?
So Cade is the oldest brother, and of course he's got all of my favorite oldest brother vibes. He's grumpy. He's got the whole world on his shoulders, and he won't let anybody else take it from him. And he just can't emote until he does, and then it's just a sea of words.
Yes.
And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I love you.
Hashtag relatable content.
Hashtag relatable content. He reminded me a lot of Lachlan from Butcher and Blackbird.
Lachlan's not the... Oh, wait, yes.
Yes, he is. Don't you...
No, I heard Butcher and Blackbird and immediately went...
Oh,
yeah.
His book
I went to
book
Rowan
is Leather
and I was
Mark.
like, Rowan's not the oldest. I just replaced their names. Anyway, yes, I could see that. Yeah. Lachlan was cute. I'm just saying, not to diverge too much, but Leather and Mark was great.
He has a whole book, and he's like, I'm salty, but also I'm a caregiver, because of course you are. You're the oldest brother.
I'm salty and sweet. Anyway.
There's also a pegging scene in that, Danny.
At the
I
end.
really do need to... I haven't read that one yet.
You do. You need to get into it.
Well, I certainly can't do it while driving to the family reunion with my family. I cannot be in the same vehicle as my parents while listening to that.
You shouldn't be. No.
Can't do it. You have a decent amount of time. Not as much time as Butcher and Blackbird, but you do have a little bit of time.
Yeah, you got a window of it not being that bad. Anyway, getting back to this. So, yeah, we've got the oldest brothering. We have the middle child
Who's
doing
my
the
favorite?
middle child shit, just disappearing and being like, I'm in the army.
Apparently he's in the special forces.
Yes.
So he's not the
He's
typical,
a badass motherfucker.
Yeah. He's not the typical middle child who's like, I'm fucking up everywhere. He's like, no, I'm actually terrifying.
And yet does hilarious fucking things. That is probably my favorite scene in the book when she's like, I'm trying to figure out how to get him away from all those girls so he doesn't take one home, which, by the way, the boys totally knew he wasn't going to take one of them home.
Well, I don't know, because the thing is when he was younger, he was the person who did that.
Yes. But he hasn't been that way in a long time. And so she's trying to figure out how to cock block him without being an asshole in a bar.
Yeah.
and without making it apparent and embarrassing him that he has a fucking babysitter. And he's like, I could send him milk drinks until he gets pissed off enough to come over here.
The part of it that I really enjoyed was that they were from his future wife.
Yeah.
Right.
And that felt very on brand with sibling energy.
Yes. The milk thing is so interesting to me because like that's the whole reason this started is because he said he didn't like milk, and we find out it's because his dad made them drink a glass of raw milk every day.
Ugh.
And I'm like, yeah, I would hate milk too.
Yep.
No.
I do hate milk.
Yeah.
I don't hate everything made with milk, though. Like, he really was averse to pretty much everything made with milk.
Until the whipped
Until
cream
the whipped cream
scene.
scene.
Yeah,
And
then
that
he
was
was
the last
like,
scene.
yum, yum, yum.
Anyway, Bo.
Bo is I think I'm interested to read his book because I think it's gonna be one where you're like, how do you okay
How is my sweet boy Bo? And then I don't think he's going to be a sweet boy Bo.
no.
I have to imagine. I guess I don't know, actually. I've got nothing. But that's not this book. Unfortunately, that's also the 5th book in the series.
God
you'd have
damn
to work
it.
your
It's
way up to
Bullshit.
it.
Never give them to me in the order I want.
Well, Cade's is next.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. But I'm still grumpy about it.
I did read the little like beginning excerpt in the back of the book,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently how they meet is Willa it comes to go visit Summer in the town, and she and Cade run into each other in a coffee shop, and she's digging through her purse and accidentally drops a pair of black panties, and he picks them up,
Oh my.
Okay.
and then she
You have my
leaves.
attention.
and then she leaves the coffee shop, and he's like, I still have, and she's like, finders keepers, and walks away.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
I'm just like, that's going to plague his mind for the rest of his life.
Well,
Just
especially
like,
because she's getting hired to be Luke, Cade's son's nanny for the summer.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
In my mind, he's just like constantly going, I have her panties in my pocket. I have her panties in my pocket. I have her panties on my dresser. I have her panties in my dresser.
It's like the no bra situation all over again.
Yeah. No bra. Did you see them nips though? She's got piercings now.
Happened before. I know, because no bra. Anyway,
So this book. Okay, so I'm going to say something controversial.
you?
Shocking.
I know. I did not like the dirty talk in this book. Now, it might be I didn't like the delivery from the audiobook people. And if that's the case, my apologies. But there were multiple times where I was like, don't you fucking say it. Don't you fucking say it. And then he said it. And I was like, no, I don't want it. And so I just want to ask authors to retire a few phrases.
I was going to say, please give me examples of what you did not like.
First of all, I think that we can find other ways to say you like that, don't you? I think we can do better. I think we can be more creative. And there's something about that instantly makes me go,
I don't have that problem.
Would you like it if a female character said it to a male character?
no.
Okay. All right. Well, at least as long
No,
as you're
it's the
equal
phrase.
Opportunity.
Yeah, it's the phrase.
Okay.
I wouldn't like anyone saying that to anyone. There's something just condescending about that makes me want to go and punch them in the face. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Do you like that? Do you like getting punched in the face, bitch?
I mean, to be fair, when you're doing sexy times, you really should have appropriate amounts of communication regarding what you like and don't
You can
like.
check in with each other without being gross.
Okay. What's the next phrase you hate?
I'm trying to think of exactly how it goes because she said it verbatim in the book, and I was just like, please stop. Oh, shoot. It's right here.
Do you want to
I
know
will
one that
not.
I hate?
What?
Whenever they say, "How are you so tight?"
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, God, I hate that.
Oh, I hate that. We don't need to do that. Oh, that was exactly what I needed to hear, Liz. Thank you.
I'm here for you.
Yeah. So I don't like, unless it's a shifter or like fated mates thing, don't fucking say it's like you were made for me. I hate it so much. And they used it so much in this book. They used it too many times. For the record, more than twice is too many times. Stop it. There are other ways to say that. There are other ways to say that somebody feels good. You don't have to make it like this. I'm just going to repeat the phrases that I got from somebody else's book in my book. People can say other things while having sex. I'm just saying, get more creative. Rant over.
Okay. See, I didn't have these problems, but
Neither did I.
Again, it might have been the delivery with which I got from the audiobook, but I could just feel them coming up, and it just felt not creative. It felt like I'm just going to say this generic fucking thing and be like, yeah, stamp of approval, hot, sexy time. And it's like, no. And I don't know. There were so many times where he would say things and I'm like, you're a condescending fucking asshole. And I was not getting sexy.
see, and I liked the sexy times in this
I did
book.
too. One of my favorites is that they were driving the old truck out to the field and would sit there and go at it under the stars. I was like, oh, hells yeah.
You see, I didn't like that because all I could think is unless you have a lot of blankets or like an air mattress in the back of your truck, backs of trucks aren't comfortable.
Also,
I'll take the bruises.
bugs.
No, Danny,
Dirt.
it's not comfortable.
Backs of trucks aren't clean. What if you get a rusty nail in your asshole? What are you gonna do about that, Danny?
Go get a tetanus shot,
Go
obviously.
get a tetanus shot.
I mean,
You got to get the nail
got
out
a
your
flared
ass.
base.
you think it's going to go all the way in? You don't think you're going to get
If
a
you're
little
sitting
poke
there
and stop?
thrusting.
Anyway.
Actions have consequences. That's all I'm saying.
I was getting the cuteness of being under the Canadian stars.
By the Rocky
Because they're
Mountains.
different than
By
the
the
other
Rocky-
stars.
Hey,
Well, actually,
there's not as much light pollution.
But actually, depending where you are in the world, they are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a few, 100 miles north is enough.
I actually don't know how far away Alberta, or no, Calgary is
Oh.
from us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I just meant in general, Canada.
You can
know.
see the Aurora Borealis up there better.
You can see it here too.
I've never
I
seen it
said
here.
better.
Okay.
I have seen it here,
Why am
but
I in trouble?
because you got snarky with me and I'm in a mood.
I did like the scene though when they like started and stopped a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like really working her up. I was like, that's actually really hot.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
I love when she was like, he realized that she had never had her taco eaten
Oh yeah, that was in this book. I've read too many books lately.
because douchebag McGee never did it, and he was just like, oh, that's a crime. Let me help you out here, kid.
It is a crime.
It is a crime, especially because she apparently got real good at blowjobs, which is just unfair.
Also, super gross. Because
Yeah.
that was grooming.
Yep.
Woohoo!
But don't worry, she was legal when it happened.
Oh god, I hated that every
Disgusting.
time she said it. I was like, but
Every time she said it, all I could hear in my head was him telling her that.
Yes.
Like, she had been trained so many
Yes.
times to say
Uh-huh.
that.
Yes.
honestly is an effectiveness of the author on that one, because that's reality,
Oh,
unfortunately.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
How? This is something that I've always wondered. As an author, when you put in little things like that you don't explicitly say, like, does it bother you if people don't notice it? Because it would bother me a lot.
I think you have to think about it from the perspective of like, stop thinking of it as a piece of media and start thinking of it as a piece of art. At a certain point, it's not yours anymore. It's the reader's.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you can't control somebody's interpretation of your art.
Also, at a certain point, you have to give it out to your audience and expect that some people are going to catch it and some people aren't.
Well, and some things they might not catch, but they'll get the feeling of it, right? They'll get the ick, even if they don't know why they're getting the ick.
Yeah. There's definitely been times where I get the ick about something and I'm like, I don't know why that bothers me, but it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the things I want to talk about, because I want to bring it back around to one of our previous conversations regarding how important sex scenes are, if done right, to the plot and the romance. And I thought that the sex scene, the first time they actually really have sex, that it was done in that regard, because it starts off like super hot and kind of flirty, and then it just like moves toward being more romantic and sweet and heartfelt. And I was like, this is another really good example of how to do that right.
Yeah, the author absolutely did a really good job with that, and making a point in there being a sex scene, not just now they get sexy.
Well, it showed, hey, we've been flirting back and forth. There's been a lot of sexual tension. Let's do it. Let's do this thing. Let's make it happen. And then like in the middle of it going, oh, maybe this is more, and switching to something that is more like them connecting on a different level.
On the physical and emotional
Yeah.
level as opposed to just the physical.
Yeah.
Which physical's fleeting. I mean, it's fun.
Well, yeah.
But
Yeah.
physical's fleeting. You got to have the emotions if you want them. I do not. Why am I the one talking about this? Goddamn.
Because you can still understand how things are supposed to like come across in these books, even if you don't want that in
Absolutely.
your personal life.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Sorry. I just had a little, I was like, why do I get that?
I like dark romances, but if anybody ever came at me like that, I would stab them.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So-
No, I also like dark romances, and I carry a knife in my purse for reasons.
But sometimes your emotions are the other way, and then you do a body shot with whipped cream, and then you go fuck with the whipped cream.
I mean, both can be good.
Both
Is good.
both are right.
I will say, leading up to that scene, when she's like, goes to grab the cowboy hat, I was like, girl, no.
Oh yeah, no, I did too. I was like, oh
Right?
no.
I was like, that is a no, you don't do that.
Well, you do if you want something,
Yeah.
but it's not just for funsies.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh no, the city girl's gonna get in trouble. Yeah. I also genuinely liked that scene had stops and starts that were like, that made sense. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just like trying to drag it out to be like, ooh, this is a longer sex scene. It was like, no, sometimes you get into something and you're like, wait, we need to reevaluate. We need to rethink this.
I also did like that the talk of the hat, with him then kind of explaining to her what the hat actually meant, and everything turned into a consent thing for him and her.
Well, if there was not a moment when she put on his cowboy hat, I would have thrown my Kindle across the room. I
Oh,
was like, you have
fuck
set
yeah.
up an expectation.
Right. Girl needs to put the hat on and then ride him. Anyway, listen, we survived the 2000s. We know that you are supposed to save the horse by riding the cowboy.
Absolutely.
Stop it. You did not say that in like a serious fucking way. Get out of your own apartment.
I
I live here.
only part way.
Yeah, you have another place to go to.
I'm just saying.
I did definitely have that song stuck in my head while listening to that part.
I really hope that there's a moment in one of the future books where she thinks his tractor is sexy.
Well, the whole time I was just thinking the Garth Brooks song about Bull Rain, but I can't think of what the actual song is called. Like, I can think the lyrics.
What are the lyrics? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
It's ropes and spats and cowboy hats. It's spurs and a lot of gold.
Yep, and I don't know the name of that song either.
It's the blood and the sweat and the something and something, and they call it a rodeo. Maybe it's just called rodeo.
It very well might be.
Fuck if I know. It's been a long time since I was mainlining Garth Brooks. Sorry.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If a Garth Brooks song comes on, I'm not upset.
You know, here's the fun thing about Garth Brooks is that he's Dolly Parton country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about him.
Is that what you appreciate about him?
I mean, when he was younger, I was appreciating that butt and them Wranglers.
I mean, you're not wrong about that one either. He also aged
Garth's
very well.
hot!
Can we just say, though, the amount of times where we got the visual of Rhett in the Wrangler jeans, and my brain was like, yes, I know what this is, and
Yes.
thank you.
It's a very
Indeed.
grabbable thing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep, I wanted a fistful of it. I wanted to bop it.
I think the equivalent is like women who wear like the yoga pants.
Yeah.
And it's hitting just right, and you're like, God damn.
It's in those moments. It's one of those moments where I would look at you or Liz, and you're just having a real good butt day in those pants.
And you're like,
And either I bop you, or I just like as I'm walking by with no eye contact whatsoever, go, your ass looks good in those pants, and walk away, because there is no better compliment than another woman going, your butt looks good in those.
Well,
I
that
love
is
it.
you.
Or another woman being like, your tits are looking hot today.
Oh fuck,
And I'm
I
like,
love that.
Titties
Thank
are
you.
tittying.
That makes
Thank
my whole
you.
month.
Oh my God. Thank you. I just got this bra.
Yeah, that makes my whole month. Your tits look good in that.
All I'm hearing out of this conversation is we need to compliment each other's tits more often.
You right.
You right.
Yeah.
You right. Danny, go put on the egg bra.
Yeah. Let's scramble them.
Oh my God.
I did really enjoy the joke, since we're just like talking about random things now. I loved the joke where Summer goes to greet Willa and is like, she's always so tall and Summer is always so short. So she's like, I do my normal greeting to her. I put my head in her boobs and go, hello, friends.
She
Okay, but
motorboats her.
like,
Yeah.
I have been the motorboated in that
I know.
situation frequently. I'll be like, hello, and then it's like, hello, and you're like, how you doing down there in the mountains?
Just enjoying the...
Can you breathe?
I'm not gonna lie. There's been many a times where Liz comes to hug me and I smoosh my face and boobs.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm short.
Enjoy them.
It's an advantage of being short.
yeah, I guess it is.
Getting back to Rhett and Summer. So the thing with Rhett and Summer is that I think for all the complaining that we do, where these relationships don't feel like they're realistic, don't feel like they're on a realistic timeline, don't feel like they're built in a way that makes sense for their character development at all, like, this did not give me that at all. I was like, this is developing in a way that makes fucking sense. And I really enjoyed because they were just smart about it at the end of the day, because she didn't like him at the beginning. She did like him, but, you know, also didn't like the attitude he was throwing.
Yeah.
And he didn't like her based on just like not wanting to have to be babysat.
Which, fair enough.
Yeah. And so to have to start from that and to be in the instant love would have been fucking awful and annoying. But instead, the author was like, no, we're going to put them in situations that make sense for their relationship to develop. They're going to be friends. They're going to be people that are working towards a common goal. So it makes sense for them to bond. And I was like, wow, isn't that fucking refreshing?
Well, and also the way they went about it was extremely intelligent, where it's like, okay, we begrudgingly at first find little things that they actually kind of enjoy about each other. She discovers that she likes the way he is around his family, that she likes his attitude around the people that he admires and loves. And he loves her smart ass mouth because she just gives it right back to him and gives it right back to his family. Also, she didn't completely just throw him under the bus with his brothers. Did they figure it out fairly quickly? Yeah, that's the nature of brothers. But it wasn't coming from her. Mm-hmm. And he appreciated that about her.
Well, and we talked about it a little bit, but the fact that she constantly supported him and tried ways to find ways to make his life easier as well. Like, she could have been a bitch the entire time they were traveling.
Oh, yeah.
And instead she was like, well, okay, if you just listen to me, I think I can actually help without, you know, telling you to stop writing.
Like, she coached him on interviews, and then when she realized how badly he was hurt, because he was masking it from everybody, even his family really didn't understand how badly he was hurt. And she'd noticed those things, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to tell you to stop, because that's a waste of my breath, but we're going to go about this a smart way. When we get back, you're going to get acupuncture, you're going to get a massage, maybe the chiropractor, you know, we're going to have everything looked at, but at least I'm going to, you know, I've got this for you, I've got this for you, I'm going to rub out your shoulder and everything, help you out in that way, so you can at least go about this in the most healthy way possible, with you still being a dumbass about this.
Well, and I appreciated the fact that Summer's approach to that was, I'm not going to badger you about not writing. You know what I think, which is that you need to actually go see a doctor and do whatever they say, which was surgery. But I'm not going to like continue to beat the drum on that when I know that's just going to piss you off.
Well, and at the end of the day, he's a 32-year-old man, and this is his career.
Right. And she's brand new to the sport. She's 25, which we didn't really talk about, but she's 25 and she's just showing up. Like,
the one thing I wish on that note of the age that the author should have, I think, explored just a little bit more. I don't think it would have taken that many additional pages, but Rhett needed to have a moment of like concern that she was going after a guy that was older again.
oh, after the doctor.
Yes. Like,
Yeah,
is
but
it the
he's-
same? No, but he just needed to have a moment of like checking in with you you do understand that like there is a power dynamic here.
Yeah.
And in multiple power dynamics, honestly. Like, yes, you supposedly have say over me, but like at the end of the day,
I could fire you and your dad.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I am your customer.
And then on top of it, I have all this experience you don't have. And it seems like the experience you do have is 1000% grooming. So yikes, we need to talk about this.
Yeah. I think the way that maybe the author tried to combat that is the fact that both of them had power in different areas of the book.
Yeah.
Because there was a point when Rhett talked about being like, well, just fire your dad. Granted, he was saying it in a way of like, we can be together now because now we're not in a professional relationship, which I'm really glad that they didn't. It was only a joke or whatever, because if he would have done that, I would have been like, dude, this is how you fuck up a relationship.
That to me would have been instantly we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
You're screwing up my career
Yeah.
just so that you can sleep with me?
Absolutely not.
No. fucking
Absolutely
way.
not. Yeah.
No.
I did really appreciate that when it came down to it, when her dad and her were having the conversation, it wasn't about, I can be with Rhett if I don't work here, blah, blah, blah. It was about, you're not happy here.
Yeah, I do think, like, me personally, if somebody would have made that choice for me, which her dad did by firing her at the end of the book, I would have been pretty fucking pissed. Like, you can steer me in the right direction. We can have the big talks, whatever. But don't make the decision for me.
Yes. And I'm sorry, but like, that's kind of a dramatic gesture. Like,
Yes.
now she doesn't have employment because you're trying to like be like, you know, you go out there and do something else. She's not qualified to do a lot of things that she wants to do. She
Right.
has to prove herself. She got lucky that Chestnut Springs was like, we've got a gym that could be better. Like, you know what I mean?
That is the one thing I actually didn't like, was the big ending where she, like, starts her own gym and all these athletes are coming to work with her or whatever. I'm
Why
like,
would
that's-
they? That's,
Yeah.
you know, what faith do they have to put in her?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she has Rhett's endorsement. So maybe, and Jasper, who's the big NHL player, that's their friends.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just don't like it when books end too, like, wrapped up.
Too prettily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's too fake.
Yeah.
Now, I really liked that he retired and then became
A coach?
a coach. I was
Yeah.
like, that makes 100% sense and is very much the next step in that situation. He already was kind of coaching his friend anyway, so he can become a coach and be perfectly presentable and helpful and still be a part of the sport.
Something that we haven't really touched on is that the reason that Rhett is coaching Theo in the first place is because his father coached Rhett and then died riding bulls. And I think that it shows the recklessness that Rhett has applied to his life in the ways that he coaches up to that point with Theo is also fucking reckless. For somebody who knows, because your goddamn mentor died out there, how stupid it is to do that.
Well, that's, I think, the big thing in the background, right? That never gets touched on, but it's just kind of lingering there, is that Rhett is pushing himself constantly and putting himself in more and more dangerous situations, up to the point where he has broken ribs at the, what is the Grand Prix? It's not the Grand Prix. What is the big final?
It's not at the final. It's at a...
Thank you. I was really hoping you would pick up on what I was doing. Whatever's in Las Vegas. And the championship.
That's not where he broke the ribs.
No, but he was about to ride with broken ribs.
He was about to ride with broken ribs, yes, at the World Championships.
Yeah. So in the background, we have this thing where they should all know better. Theo should know better and wear a helmet because his dad died riding bulls. Rhett should know better than to push himself and try to ride while his shoulder's fucked up, his hand is fucked up. Eventually his ribs are broken because his mentor died doing this, and they keep doing it.
Well, and he even had a scare where his hand got stuck in the...
Yeah, he got hung up.
Yeah, and what are you going to do in that situation other than get lucky, which is what happened with him?
Well, luck and skill of the rodeo clowns. There,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the spotters on horseback.
It's irresponsible, and they know it, and I don't know that any of them ever really have to pay the consequences, or I don't know that they They do get hurt, right? Things like that. But I don't know that they learned their lesson is, I think, more of what I'm trying to say.
Well, and you see it in the rest of Rhett's life. Like, he's the one who rushes into this thing with Summer. And they talk about it, right? That's the whole thing in the book, is that he rushes in, does whatever he wants, and doesn't think about the consequences. And Summer, who's a people pleaser and is constantly trying to do the right thing for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just another layer added on to why these characters are the way they are, right? It's the showing versus telling.
Yeah.
We were told, and then we were also shown.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I also like that the way that Summer was handled as a people pleaser. It was not she's a pushover and doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. She doesn't, but she at the end of the day is doing it to keep the peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she recognizes that she does not benefit from fucking chaos, something he does not understand.
Well, and even in the scenes where, you know, she's being combative with Rhett, she also never pushes too far.
Mm-hmm.
Like the milky drink scene. Like, she is like, I don't want to go over there and make a big scene to stop him from being with all these women. And so it's complicated because people are complicated, and nobody ever is just like one thing. Mm-hmm. You can be a sassy bitch and also be a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at me.
I was going to say, I think I'm looking at some of them in this room.
Hey.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't please no peoples.
You please me.
Oh.
And me.
Yeah.
Rawr. So I do want to talk just a little bit about the ending of the book where he retires in that moment. And it's because she's had this discussion with her bestie. She had this discussion that her best friend pretty much says, do you ever think that he doesn't know how to make you a priority because nobody else has ever made him a priority? And she's like, well, shit. And then her best friend's like, I bought us tickets. We're going to Vegas. And she shows up and she whistles, because that's how he always finds her in a crowd. It's what she's always done. She's like, it's the stupidest skill I have is that she can whistle just fucking stupid loud.
I've always wanted to be able to.
My father can.
That's great for you growing up, I'm sure.
Oh, dear Lord. So it's in that moment that he realizes that even though she's mad at him and they're still going to discuss the situation, that she showed up for him, she's making him a priority, and that it's high time that he also made her a priority. In which case, not getting on the bull when he's this injured needs to happen.
I love that. I love when a sports story, whether it's a romance or whatever fiction, ends where they don't win the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
When there's like some sort of realization that something's bigger.
Yes. Although, if this were not... if this was categorized as a drama and not a romance, I thought he was going to die.
I also was like, or he's going to get on this thing and get really injured.
Yes.
Yeah, I was Concernicus, but I didn't think she would go there.
I knew he wasn't going to get killed.
Right, because supposedly this is going to have a happy ending, so I was like, dang. But there was a part of me that was like, it would be sad, yes. Poetic, also yes. You know? Sometimes the happy ending isn't the strongest ending, but in romance, you gotta commit.
Yeah.
Well, it is a part of the expectation of the genre.
It is.
I mean,
if can you imagine the drama if a character like died like that? Oof, it would be all TikTok could talk about.
People would riot.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm just saying, with romance books, sometimes you just want everybody to have an orgasm and a happy ending.
For sure.
That's what I want.
At least one.
Oh, there better be more than one.
Yeah, I'm not reading no damn book where there's only one. Well, that's not true. Like, if there's only one sex scene or
We've
whatever,
also
that's
read
fine.
ones
Yeah.
where there are none.
But if you're giving me many sex scenes, but no orgasms, get the fuck out of here.
What is that?
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
No. Table flip.
What is this? Some like religious shit?
Anyway,
Yeah.
we talked about the ending, so why don't we end?
All right.
Look at
Sounds
that
good.
rough ass transition.
I
Hey,
loved
Wiggles.
it. Ratings time.
Thank you. What's your spice rating?
It wasn't the like absolute spiciest thing, but it was well written.
Yeah.
And I was very appreciative of the spice we got. There was very conscious moments where it went from we're boning down to, oh, this is a more intentional. And so I actually kind of gave it a 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're jumping.
Yeah, because things were so intentional and well written.
See, I was closer to a 3 to 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I will land on a...
The
Okay.
face.
I don't know.
Well, you think about that.
Thank you.
We'll come back to you. I'm going to go with a 3. Now,
Okay.
I want to be clear. There is some bias. I did listen to the audiobook and get the ick. So
Fair enough.
that's,
You
know,
didn't like the dirty talk.
I didn't like the way he said it, at least. So sorry to my guy who narrated it.
I think I'm going to go with a 3.5 because the other sex scene we didn't really talk about too much is the one they actually have back at the house. And that was nice.
So, romance.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I liked their relationship. I liked that they intentionally like went up from enemies to friendship to lovers and more.
I was also thinking a 3.5.
I'll round it out with a 3.5 as well. It feels appropriate.
Perfect.
Overall,
I'll give this a 3.5. I liked this book.
I want to go with a 4. I
Okay.
feel solidly at a 4. It makes me want to read the rest of the books.
It does make me want. I actually am amending that. I'm gonna go with a 4 because I actually also want to read the rest of the books.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel. I do want to read the rest of the books. I will never read this again. So, mixed feelings. So, I'm going to keep it at a 3.5, keep myself honest.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's fair.
Because outside of knowing with great confidence that if I read the book and didn't listen to the audiobook, I would probably like it. No. Anyway.
What are your guys' recommendations?
I can begin.
Okay.
I would recommend Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey with a slight caveat that I think I'm like 70% into the book. So if something wacky happens in the ending, know that I wasn't aware of that at this time. It is a book where the fan of this famous golfer ends up becoming his caddy. And so it has the like professional relationship that leads to flirting, that leads to sexy times. And there's a lot of back and forth of like, should we do this? Should we not be doing this? He falls first, he falls harder, kind of like this book. So there you go.
Wiggs, what you got?
I'm going to go with a slightly oddball suggestion, but I stand by it. And that is The Legend of Beggar Vance. If you don't remember that movie, it's because it came out a bazillion years ago.
Yeah.
It's old.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that old. I want to be clear. It's like early 2000s. But, in the movie, the main character is like beyond his skill in golf. Like he needs to retire, right? And Beggar Vance helps him with his golf game. So that's what that is. But there is a romance between him and the woman that he was in love with before he went off and did things and abandoned her, kind of. It's complicated. Watch the movie.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Charlize Theron looking hot as fuck. Check it out. If you're wondering how it's related, it's really just the old sports guy. That's it.
So it's insanely loose connection.
I never said that I would help you find more things like this. I just said
That's literally the point of this segment of our podcast.
It's just a recommendation. I don't have anything because I don't really do. Most of my sports romance ones got sniped by challengers. And so, yeah.
Fair enough, I guess.
Danny?
Okay, so y'all are gonna judge me super hard simply by the name of this book, so it's fine. So it's Huge Times 10. It's a cowboy reverse harem romance.
A cowboy reverse harem romance? Mm-hmm. Who's this by?
So it is by Stephanie Brother.
And is the connection here just the cowboys?
So it's the cowboys. It's a little bit of the enemies to lovers situation in a bit because basically the cowboys' mother, because yes, they're all brothers,
No, that poor woman.
wants them to get married and wants them to get married to one person so that they all can run the farm together and there's no fighting. And so she basically kind of puts something in the newspaper like suggesting that they date and stuff. And so this girl shows up and they had no idea. So they're real pissy about it and everything.
Danny, this premise is getting wilder and wilder as you speak.
Literally, I don't understand the romance genre. And
It's fine.
don't get it. There's a lot of flaws in this woman's logic.
Yeah, it's fine.
There's also who's responding to that isn't crazy.
So the previous book is another, it's her best friend, and she is with 10 guys. And so she was excited.
There's actually 10 men?
Yes.
That's too many.
You have to, you.
It's so many.
But, like, if you want to sleep with each one at least once a week, you have to be sleeping with multiple men every day. And, like,
No.
who's got the time? You know?
Literally, you couldn't pay me. Absolutely not.
You just become, like, what are you anymore other than just...
A husk.
Yeah.
There's 13 books in this series.
Jesus.
13?
Listen, I am not judging. I'm not yucking anyone's yum, but I am telling you I don't understand.
Like, I'm here for a good reverse harem or why choose? Because the other one that I was thinking about suggesting was Pucking Around by Emily Rath, purely because one of the characters is an old goalie who has an injury, and, like, the main character is their doctor on the team, and she helps them, and that's very similar to this. But there's only 3 men's, which I'm already like, that's at least one too many.
By the way, how the tables have turned, because I was talking to a friend of mine. We were talking about books that we had been reading and everything, and I had been talking about the book previous to that one.
Was it 10 Men All at Once or something like that?
Yes,
Which
it's called 10 Men. And
I remember.
she was like, so what was this book that you had been reading? And I was like, I'm not going to lie. I will not tell you the name of this book whilst your husband is still in this car. He was about to go into the grocery store to pick up a few things. And she was like, so wait, you're not going to tell me while he's in here? I'm like, no, I am not. And now I'm like, look here, podcast. I read these books.
Well,
The things y'all exposed me to. That's all I have to say.
oh, come on. It hasn't been that bad.
No, I'm just saying they wouldn't have found me otherwise.
I will say we've done almost no reverse harem or why choose.
We should.
We
do
should.
this.
We should, because I got to be confused in new ways.
All right. Well, thank you for your wild and out there recommendations, you two.
You're welcome.
Hey, mine at least had some romance element.
There's a romance element in the movie.
Anyway.
Well, folks, we'll end it here before we get even further off track. If you like this episode, find us out there on the socials at Wrong Dust Jackets. You can find us primarily on TikTok and Instagram, but you can find us pretty much everywhere you want to go. We also have our website, wrongdustjackets.com, where you can check out all the episodes that are coming out, list of episodes that we've done before. Go back and check the old catalog, as well as our blog posts for any books that haven't made it into full episodes. And we would love it if you would give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever's available to you on your podcast listening app. We appreciate it. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.